Hey, what's up, everybody? So I wanted to go over the Packers' newest signing. The news came out yesterday from Packers.com. The Packers have added corner Gregory Jr., and in making that addition, they also released corner Caleb Hayes. And looking into Gregory Jr., he's 6 foot, 203 pounds. He played college football at Ouachita Baptist University, and he's actually the first player ever drafted out of that university. And he was initially drafted by the Jaguars back in 2022 in the 6th round. And in 2022 and 2023 for the Jaguars, he played in 10 games. And I'd say he played okay. He had 112 defensive snaps in those 2 seasons, 63 snaps in the slot, 36 outside, 11 in the box, 1 on the defensive line. 1 positive, 0 missed tackles in those 112 snaps. And that's not a massive sample size, but still to not miss any tackles seems to be that he's somewhat of a solid tackler. And in those 10 games, he was targeted 13 times, allowed 11 receptions for 103 yards and a 99.7 passer rating, and then played 110 snaps on special teams. And the reality for lots of these signings that are guys who have, bounced around a little bit, he did as well. He was released by the Jaguars in 2024 during camp and then spent time on the Colts and Texans practice squads. But lots of these guys who come in and become, the 10th, 11th player at the position, it's tough for them to make the roster. But I think there are times, throughout camp where you see guys who you maybe wouldn't expect to have pushed for a roster spot end up pushing for one. But it's tough for some of these guys to end up, making the team. But he does have the leg up in the fact that he has NFL experience, and so that's definitely something going for him. And now if we look at the Packers corner room, he is now the 11th corner on the roster. Javon Bullard is counted as a safety on the Packers website. Bullard does play a ton of time in the slot as well, so he's sort of cornerback / safety. So if you count Bullard as a safety, or as a corner, that makes Junior the 12th corner. So either way, 11th or 12th corner. When we look at the past 3 years, how many corners the Packers kept, they kept 5 corners in 2024, 6 if you include Bullard, 4 in 2023, and 5 in 2022. So that means that he'll probably be competing with 7, 8 other guys for one of the final corner spots. You have 7th rounder from this year, Micah Robinson, Kamal Haddon, Isaiah Dunn, Kalen King, Tyron Herring, and Jonathan Baldwin. And so it's going to be tough for him to make the roster, and so we'll sort of see if he can, do anything come training camp. And for the Packers and their cornerback position, we are still waiting on the Jaire Alexander situation, because at this point, we still don't know what the Packers and Jaire are going to decide. I still think that every option is on the table. It does sound to me like for the Packers that could make the most sense is keeping Jaire, because I just think looking at their 2025 chances when it comes to winning a Super Bowl, that they have the best chance with Jaire on the roster. And so we'll see if they're able to get to some kind of agreement where I assume the Packers would like him to take some kind of a pay cut. And I do think it could be best for both sides, just because I'm not sure how big Jaire's market would be if he was released. Teams would no doubt want him, but I don't think they'd pay him a ton of money, maybe what he would want, just because of his injury history. So there are some questions there, and if Jaire ends up leaving, which at this point I'm leaning towards him staying, if he were to be gone, then for any of these other corners further down the depth chart, then they'll have a much better shot without, Jaire there, where he'll clearly make the roster. So I would assume if Jaire stays, the 5 guys could be Jaire, Keyshawn Nixon, Nate Hobbs, Carrington Valentine, and then we'll see who will compete for that final spot if we're considering Bullard as a safety. So that's the most recent Packers news. If you want to stay up to date with all Packers news, I cover on this channel most of the time, most days. So feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.